Hey, this is Sally from savorywithsoul.com. Today I'm going to be making cream of peas or creamed peas, and it only uses a handful of ingredients and it's super quick, super yummy. I've got 4 cups of peas here. I've got marjoram, dry marjoram, paprika, and salt and black pepper, butter, minced garlic, flour, cream, and shredded or grated Parmesan cheese. You can find the link down below to the exact recipe that you can print off and save for later, and I'm going to be looking online at the recipe to follow it as we go. So I have my pan heating up right here, about 3 to 4 for about 5 minutes or so. It's been heating. So that's what you want to do first. Next you're going to get your 2 tablespoons of butter, add right into your pan. You're going to want to let that melt good and add in your garlic. Now I like to buy the jarred garlic. I know it's not as flavorful, but I like to use it for convenience. So that's why I say a tablespoon. A tablespoon of garlic is about 3 large cloves if you wanted to do it fresh. So here it is, heating up. This is actually my very first time using this cooktop. And once that's nice and heated up and the butter is nice and melted, I'm going to add in my peas. Now these are frozen peas. 4 cups is about 18 ounces. These are frozen. They're still frozen. I didn't thaw them. And if you need to turn the heat up so they get a good sizzle going, do so. And I'm going to go ahead and add in my marjoram, my paprika, my salt. For the paprika, you can use, I'm using sweet paprika, which is not spicy, or you can use the smoked paprika if you want a little bit of spice. And with my black pepper, I'm always using my grinder. It calls for a 1/4 teaspoon, and I most of the time just eyeball it because I like to use my fresh pepper from the grinder. Alright, so now what I'm doing, the peas don't take very long to cook. They're very, very quick. So you want to cover the peas and cook for about 5 minutes on your medium temperature of about 3 to 4. Once you have them nicely stirred and covered, you know, you don't want to overcook them. They'll be mushy. We don't want mushy peas. We want them to have a bit of firmness still to them and be nice and bright green like you see here. So now I'm stirring them to blend all the yummy flavors together, and I've got some just all-purpose white flour here to sprinkle over top. Flour makes a good thickener. You could also use arrowroot powder if you're concerned about gluten. And I'll stir to mix that in just a little bit. We don't want clumps. Now I have my heat on about 4 right now. I'm going to put my cream, for my 1 cup of cream, and 1/2 cup of Parmesan in here, and we want to stir this in, and we want this to heat and thicken a bit. So while that's cooking, so I've used frozen peas here, like I told you. You can use fresh, that's even better. You do not want to use canned peas. When I was a kid, that was one of my least favorite things, was peas, because they were from a can. Now if you like canned peas, great, but I think they lack flavor and they tend to be mushy. We do not want mushy here. So thus this recipe takes only about 20 minutes or less start to finish. Now I'm going to bump that up just a touch so it can start to bubble, but we don't want it to boil. We don't want it to curdle the cream, but we do want it to thicken a bit. And we want the cheese to get nice and melty. So you'll leave it uncovered at this stage, and you'll probably want to stir it pretty often. We're actually going through a thunderstorm right now, which is pretty unusual for us in this area. But I grew up with a lot of thunderstorms in the south. Now you can see how it's thickening nicely, and that wonderful kind of a hint of orange color to the sauce. And I think you're going to love these. See, the cheese is nice there. And so just keep an eye on it. Keep an eye on it at this stage. Like I said, you don't want it to boil. You just want it to thicken a bit. And so I'm going to turn it down at this point, and I'm going to let it thicken. And this will be wonderful with the London broil crockpot recipe. I have another video here on YouTube of that recipe. These peas would be wonderful with that, served with a roast chicken or just anything that you need a green side dish with. Anything that you might use regular peas for. This creamed peas recipe is fabulous. So let it simmer like this. I've got it turned down to about low at this point until it thickens, and I probably could actually turn it off at this point. It is starting to bubble. A little bit of bubbling is okay. Alright, and that looks about right. So that's your recipe for today. If you have any comments or questions, please comment below. Click subscribe to subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be doing a lot more videos coming up in the near future, and you don't want to miss a one. And visit me at savorywithsoul.com, and I'll see you on the next video.